know.
All right, we'll call the December 13th board meeting to order. We'll start roll call. Everybody's here. We want to welcome the administration, the public, newspaper, they happen to be here, and we'll start with the pledge and invocation.
Please rise.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please maintain.
Precious Heavenly Father, thank you for this beautiful day, and thank you for those that are here, and may we make wise decisions for our school district as we go forward, and just be with the kids and our teachers and administrations while we're out of school during the Christmas holidays, and let's remember what Christmas is supposed to be about. In thy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Can we get a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I so move.
Second.
Motion second, approve the agenda, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Do we have any public participation?
None.
None today? All right. We'll start with the cabinet update.
Okay, I want to start my report by saying I attended a meeting at the BAAIS, it's the local area superintendents. And I think last month I talked to you about tutor.com, which the 7th and 8th graders have, which is free for them through their second year of college, which is amazing. Well, the state has purchased a paper, it's called paper even though it's virtual online tutoring for students. The first training was before I got here, they had done a virtual session. So the lady's coming in January to do some 90-minute sessions, because if you have, let's say you're working on an essay in your home, or you're in study hall, or whatever it is, you can upload that, and you get a free tutor that will not give you answers, but will talk you through the Socratic method of how to come about something. You can do a senior scholarship essay and get feedback on that. Math questions, any subject area you need. It could be used during the day, at night, home, weekends, whatever. So our usage is not where it should be. We have one teacher at the high school that's killing it. So we've got to take advantage of this, and so we've got a face-to-face training coming up January 4th. We had Bonnie Granger come in and hold a meeting with all administrators, directors, the athletic director, all those kind of people, to go over student activity funds and training, so we had that. I think I mentioned that the MCOX grant was submitted, that did go in before the deadline on November 14th. I also attended a training, actually it was at Bio Academy, it was with Delta State Bio and us, where the chief of police, they're bringing in Stephen Maxwell, who's with the Mississippi Public Institute, who's going to present information to students and parents about street narcotics and what's going on and what's out there today. So he'll do trainings at the school, and then the date in February is not set in stone, but Delta State is offering the BPAC, so all schools' parents can go and receive training. It's going to be in February, so that's something to be looking for. Winter Mass is in Jackson in January, and I will be attending that this year. Another issue is the bus shop has a leaky roof that we're dealing with. We're reviewing the MOU that we have with the county. It's causing problems with the flooring, and we've had somebody look at it, so now we're trying to, make sure we do our paperwork and processes to make sure we get that building. It's not our building, but it's our property, so we're going through that, so I just want to make you aware of that, something that we're working on. I attended the Chamber of Commerce meeting last week, and I wanted to make sure, if you haven't seen it on Facebook, on December the 15th at 5:30, in the CCHS auditorium, the middle school is doing a production. It's got art show, theater production, so I want to make sure you were aware of that.
If y'all send us a reminder of that.
Okay.
And what time?
5:30 on December 15th. And that's all I have.
I didn't see, am I looking in the wrong place for the, ADA stuff?
It's in the FY, and it is, what's the word, scary. The flu, the stomach virus killed us. in this month. I sent it out today to principals asking more questions, so it is lower. I mean, the district is at 89.73, but that's every one of them saying the same thing. Teacher ADA looks good, but, we are addressing, but when they're sick, they're sick.
Dr. Dooley,
Yes.
used to be a principal in the district that whenever students were absent, she would call the parents.
Yeah.
Has that been suggested?
I haven't suggested that yet, but I will. Yeah.
They have to bring a doctor's student.
Right, right.
Get back in.
What system that you all have, the robo, whatever?
Right.
They
They
call.
shouldn't, it calls them.
It calls
So
them.
it calls
Let the child
them. But
attend.
some of them block that number, they don't want it.
Shut up.
There's something about that personal phone call.
Right, for sure. Yeah. We'll talk about that for sure tomorrow.
The principal at the high school not here, right?
Right.
The Delta State contacted me
Okay,
about a program they received a grant.
okay,
Well, they were coming to your schools and help your seniors apply to different schools, help them with their financial aid at no cost to the student, at no cost to the school. And the young lady contact person is Carla Johnson.
got it.
I will in turn give you all her number
Uh-huh.
after, I don't wanna give it publicly.
Right.
I'll give you her number so you can call her, but
Okay.
they have a grant to do that.
Got it.
To enroll in Delta State.
No, in the school you wanna go to, in the school you wanna go
Just helping you
to.
with
They
the process.
contacted me about mine, you know, I'm working with Valley.
Right,
My inmates are in school through Valley, so they
Right.
wanna come and help mine do their application for Valley. Any
Right.
school they wanna go to, it's just a grant that they have to
okay,
help the students get this paperwork done.
That's good.
I got it.
All right, can I get a motion to approve candidate update?
I make the motion to approve.
Get it a second, and moving second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, approval of consent agenda.
There's been a request for us to move that from January the 12th to January the 17th, am I correct? Ms. Bell?
That's not on
That's
top.
number 4.
That's not
That's number 4.
Oh, consent agenda, my bad.
Consent agenda.
My bad. I hate to say it, but
Did I get a motion?
I make the motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
All right. You second? All right, been motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Now then,
Now we've been to January 17th.
is that correct, Ms. Bell,
Yeah, it's on here,
17th? Oh, you got, your agenda says the 17th.
Your
Mine says
your
the
paperwork,
12th.
this one says the
This
17th.
is Tuesday, the
Mine has
17th.
the updates, okay. I'll make the motion to, for 17th,
All right, is there a second?
6 o'clock.
I second.
Been motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, claims docket.
As what you know, I'm ready for you.
Rick?
I really like the last part of, the last 7 pages, that first 7 pages. They can throw that in the wind.
The last one, thank you.
The last 7 pages, it tells you what we're spending on each thing, just straight down the line.
Well, the whole 90, oh, I see what you mean.
The whole first,
Yeah.
that other's just too confusing.
It's very busy, and it took me a while to just,
You got your.
I just wanna know what we're paying, you know what I mean?
That's
See, there's a section in here, I can't remember where it was, there was a
That's
page
what
in
the
here,
note said, the
just
last
had
7
numbers.
pages.
The
It
last
just had
7
numbers
pages.
and what was paid out.
That's
It didn't
right.
say who was paid to, who was paid for. If it's paid for these schools, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't tell you what page, I remember it though, but
It's the last 7 pages, it tells you the whole month, what you pay.
See, I didn't, mine just has invoices all the way through. I don't know if I didn't get the whole
It should be
thing.
two, it should be two. She
To,
always said two. That's
oh,
it.
yeah, I don't think I got that. That's not on my section I
Instead of 102 pages, 7 would be.
got. Okay, I'm on page 91. Mine goes through.
So Cindy, if I was gonna ask a question, what would it be about?
tell the invoice number and all right by that number on page 7.
Well, let's,
Whichever one you wanna have.
I could go.
Well, how about the water bill, 10,000?
I was gonna say the water bill.
Ain't that a little high?
The water bill. You might ask about BSN.
Alright,
Those are all clean, I mean, they're all legit, they're just kinda late bringing that stuff in. Okay.
It just doesn't tell you what school you go to.
right.
You know, it tells you what fund it comes out of.
What, you know what, you have to know the account number to know what school it goes in. It
Right.
doesn't just say it.
So you
Right.
know that 426314 is
Somebody,
Yeah.
what school it is?
Yeah.
Well, we don't.
we don't.
We
Well,
don't.
we can get you a cheat sheet so that you,
There's got to be another way to do that.
well,
It has to be another.
this is, if it had the description better, if there was a more expansive description, just like on the attorney bills, I've got, at the very end of that account number, I've got 4 digits that mean this is for the calendar report, this is personnel issues, this is Fed issues, all kinds of legal issues. So, you know, it's a struggle for me to sit here and read and get past the purchase order information down to where the invoice was paid. And what is it? You know, we have very short word descriptions, but it doesn't just flat out tell you this is for the middle school and this is for.
We're gonna get that figured out, but the main thing, Mr. Harris, is that water bill. Yes, sir.
I think that's the middle school, you know, we had a main to break over there, so I will be doing a leak adjustment
Right.
to see if they give us some kind of credit back.
They should.
But we had a main to break over there that was responsible, the city's rule was responsible for their repair.
Yeah. I think that was with the fiber optic deal, wasn't
I don't know if it's happening, then, I know they've been hitting a lot of lines lately.
it? Right.
What was that, IRS 96,000? 426118, repayment IRS refund. What is that?
We'll go ahead and approve it, and then we'll get that information.
Okay,
You kinda wanna do that, right, you know?
yeah, yeah. One of the other things is, with Mr. Alexander, we got 2 large repair bills for buses that were in accidents,
No,
right?
one was an accident and one was, vandalized, where
Yeah, I saw
somebody
that.
broke into came in the back gate and cut the whole exhaust system from under one of the newer buses. So it was,
Just the catalytic converter is what you're going after?
well, the newer buses have what you call a DPF filter, so they cut that off, and all the sensors, and they cut the wires, that's what really caused it, but the insurance cover both repair vehicles.
You did?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
We have Upchurch, a big invoice from Upchurch, well, 2 invoices for them from the ESSER funds.
Where's Upchurch working?
Around it, this is the elementary, right? All
On
could be a
the
variety.
roofs?
No, air conditioning.
Air conditioning.
Yeah.
Heating up.
The other one is Roy Collins, his last invoice for the Parks project. We have some software, I told him, I said, when he talks about your IQ, I said, you're gonna ask him about that. But it was about $7,000 for, really software to manage devices, right?
Devices, Chromebook,
Yeah.
just Chromebook devices.
The rest of the stuff is pretty standard operational stuff. Those are the biggest, I would bring you this much.
Well, at the end, I see total expenditures on that page 1.1. It tells you which school, what went to. Tells you how much money went to each school.
On the, excellence group,
Mhm.
that's what services are they providing for?
Well, most of the excellence group was for when you approved a contract with them for the services needed as necessary. Well, a lot of that was for 3 different consultants to help close the books and get us through that project. 2 weeks of that was my time before I went to work just straight for the district, which I did not get near that, but I just want you to know that. But, that's what that was, closing the books. Bonnie Granger, there was 2 other consultants that worked virtually to help Ms. Kennedy get through the year, and then a couple weeks of my time.
All right. Any more questions? All right, can I get a motion to approve claim docket?
Before we approve, I need to recuse myself. I have my sister is listed on the claim docket.
Was that it right now?
Please note that in the minutes.
Please.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Then motion second to approve claim docket. All those in favor?
Please note that, Paul Evans exited the room at the time of that. Somebody get back in.
All right, Paulette. All right, number 6, approval of transportation purchase of another vehicle for a district vehicle for the superintendent.
All right, got no problem with this, other than the fact that at one point we had a district vehicle that we
Since the high school for driver's ed, is it currently being used for driver's ed?
Yes.
They are teaching driver's ed.
Who teaching about this? Rick?
Rita Smith. Well, I guess
What kind of vehicle you
It's a little kid, what is it,
Nissan.
This is Cadillac right here.
It's a Nissan.
Nissan Road.
they're not it.
No, we can't afford the gas.
State correct.
State
They
claim.
contract.
A contract for somebody.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
Been moved second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Approve for Cleveland Career Center to accept the governor's discretionary grant for 2022.
110,000.
This is for work-based learning.
We sure accept it. Can I get a motion?
I second it.
All right, been moved second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Approve for CTE to accept FY 23 CTE Education Enhancement Equipment Grant for the amount of $11,834 to purchase equipment for the health science class.
Make a motion to accept.
The defibrillator is, that's all.
Man, we need one in here.
I'm second.
Been moved second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, approve to accept the updated MOU for Oklahoma Community College for academic dual enrollment, dual credit for vocational students.
Is this the same one that we've had, or
Basically the same one.
just?
They have to be renewed.
They have to re-renew every year.
Motion to approve.
Been moved second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, approve to accept the updated MOU for Oklahoma Community College for academic dual enrollment, dual credit for CCSQ.
Same thing, first one's for vocational.
One vocational, one for high school.
Second.
Been moved second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Approval for federal programs to extend services for Kids First and Beta Education for the remainder of the 22-23 school year.
I have a question. It's okay. At the last meeting, you said that you were going to talk to principals to find out which they preferred, without going through each individual school. Can you kind of tell us, where the break was? Did more prefer Kids First? Did more prefer Bailey? Was it about even?
Honestly, the biggest part about what this is about is, Mr. Towers, you wanna tell them about the HQIM grant?
Yes, the HQIM grant,
initially, we were using 2 vendors, but Mr. Johnson and I, we called the State Department and told us that we were only supposed to use the vendors from the approved list.
Which is,
Kids first.
Okay.
So
he pointed that out, didn't he?
they told us that they were glad we didn't submit a request for reimbursement because we weren't gonna get
Veterans
reimbursed.
not on their list.
They're not on the list for the HQIM grant.
They probably will be by this time.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
can still, we can still go with that.
Yes, just using regular title funds, yes.
Right.
I really only have one principal express interest in a certain group, but the rest of them were just, I think they're kind of comfortable with what they were doing.
What they
so-
got.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay, are we going to be able to get some data from Kids First? The second semester, have you talked?
Sure, we can. We met with them today,
Okay.
and like with this HQIM grant, remember it's $1 million grant? There's a ton of money for professional development. So the grant also purchased the materials for math and ELA. So the materials are in, the grant paid for that. So now what this will do is we've come up with a plan to where we will have, I mean, we've got a lot of days to get in, so there will be no excuse for anybody not having the proper training to use the materials and provide training in the summer. So if you've got new people coming in and giving them what they need to move on, into the fall. So we worked it out where we even have a little pot of extra, so if we've got things we need to do as we see our data. Because when we come back January 9th, that week, we're gonna do a second snapshot, because they've done a winter assessment, but the math assessment was a comprehensive instead of just on what we taught. So in order to predict where we are gonna be, we need to give a quick little 50-question snapshot in those areas that we're gonna test. So then they're gonna come in and work to help get us moving in the right direction.
Is that the young lady that brought the graphs that we could understand?
No,
That was
No.
bad.
this was the man,
No,
that's Kids First.
He didn't have any data.
But he hadn't been working that much, so he didn't have stuff to see. So you will get data.
And that was our first time using it.
Right,
you would
Yes.
tell them, bring us data we can understand.
yes.
But he also told us that night, the same thing you just said about math. The math was a comprehensive test, it's not showing you if they met, because there's some standards they hadn't been introduced to, and you're testing them on that standard.
Correct. Correct.
All right, can I get a motion to approve?
Second.
Then motion second to approve 12, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, approval of termination of 16th session bid.
Yeah, go back up, Rosemont.
12.
No, I just get to accept the proposal from Rosemont Consulting Service to provide social and emotional learning services, or CSD. That just something we renewing, or is that new?
They are already in the district, but they're through the special services department, and so we needed to be able to service the regular ed students as well. So this is what this is. We're using the same company, but
This is regular ed.
yes, sir.
All right, can I get a motion?
Now, let me ask you a question. As I was reading, they're only gonna be in the school one day a week? Did I not read that?
Yes, ma'am. Part of their job is to write FBAs for regular ed kids and behavior plans. So as the referrals get higher, those kids who have those high referrals, those will be the kids that will be writing those BIPs and FBAs for.
For one day a week?
And that's for the regular.
Oh, as
Because they are in already for speed, I don't know how many days a week they're actually coming in for speed already. But it'll be one day a week for regular ed to do those.
I'm just trying to see what can they get, what kind of progress can they make in one day?
They'll have to
For a
collect
child with
data.
emotional problems.
They'll tell the teachers to collect data, and the data, they'll sit down with them to help write the plan.
So were they effective when we had them
For
last
sped?
school term?
Yes, ma'am.
We just had them for sped last year.
No, last year I had them for regular ed also. And their primary goal is to get the data from the schools, write the plan. You have to be a licensed psychologist or psychometrist to write the plan. So that's why we're going back with the same company we used last time.
All right.
They're
Now,
already familiar with some of those children, some of the cases to follow up.
Right.
What does the referral, data look like? A opposed to maybe last month, or do
Are you
we
talking
see,
Are you talking about discipline? reports?
yes, do we see any kind of a pattern?
I print the discipline reports, but I haven't really charted it and graphed it, because I print them to read and go over.
I just remember specifically the high school numbers were really high.
And they're working on that. When we implemented the discretion, I think that's helped a lot, because some of them are doing different, like instead of a 3-day suspension, a 1 day, and I'm gonna put you in ISS for a piece of it. So I do see some things happening. We still have work to do though.
All right, can I get a motion on 12?
So moved.
Get a second?
Second?
Get a motion second on number 12, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Approve of termination of 16th section lease for Mr. Walker. He died and they no longer need it. Can we get a motion to approve that?
Make a motion to approve it.
Been motion second, terminate the lease. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
How long is the lease for?
This lease ended in 2040, but it went to his family, and they are not in the area, and so they asked that it be terminated because they said they no longer had a use for it since Mr. Walker has passed on.
All right, approve it. Asset disposal list.
Okay, this is pretty much the same list I brought to you in August. What happened is, we didn't get rid of the stuff. We went back through some of it to see what could be salvaged so we can take it back in the building. So if it was a computer on there that was bought in 13 and it was still, you know, working, we was using that to replace those that were bought in 07, 08, and 09. So we didn't get rid of it. I didn't even take, the only building that I removed items out of was the high school. All the other buildings, the other disposals are still in their designated area until after this, because we was going back in and exchanging those things that was purchased 13, 14, and 15, taking them out of there and replacing those that were purchased a little bit before that, until we can get a part to the place where we can start replacing some of this stuff with completely new desktops, especially for our teachers. So that's why it's really pretty much the same list. There's only a few things added, which are a few Promethean boards that were broke, but they have been replaced. So the ones that was broke, I needed them to be removed, so the teachers or the buildings won't be accountable for 2 boards when there's only 1 in there, because once the company comes in to replace one, they take the broken or destroyed one with them. So that's been the difference with this list.
The teachers have, I thought they all had laptops.
Teachers do have laptops, but they still have those desktop computers that's been there.
Forever. We've got devices from late 1900s, as the kids are saying, but we've got some teachers still using devices that were bought in like 2000. So we took some of those devices that maybe another school was getting rid of that were in 2013, and we're replacing some of those old devices that we cannot update, so the teachers will have something that's usable until we can get their device replaced with money. And when we get it, I've got some money released to me that we're gonna start that process. We've got labs that they're trying to use that we can't update, so we took some of those devices and tried to make these devices work, these labs work, until we can get it replaced.
And then I can also report with the buildings, all of the school buildings. All the elementary schools are 100% as of right now, so the goal is to make sure we keep that. The middle school, it has gotten itself to 100% also. The high school is at 97.4%. In May, at the end of the year, there was 39 devices that was unaccounted for at the high school. Well, today it's 133. And I think the thing that has helped is they have a person over there that is strictly working directly with fixed assets and assisting Ms. Johnson. So as they continue, the goal right now is to get all the classrooms set. So we won't have to worry about the classrooms, and then we're gonna go back through that building and go through every other room and all this other good stuff, but that's where we are right now.
Okay, I'm looking at page 4, I'm sorry, on page 4, this is D.M. Smith. Is that a typo?
What is that?
You have 1433 total assets counted for 1431, not accounted for, you just have one. Shouldn't it be 2?
On who?
D.M. Smith.
I don't have them right there.
I'm
There
looking
was
at
two
that.
Chromebooks that I have with me.
Oh, it just said not accounted for, it said 1.
Okay, so
Should
that
it
was,
be
we
two?
didn't get, I didn't give you the update. Yeah, I have up-to-date ones, I didn't get that one too.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I have a couple questions. First of all, do you have a priority list made of who?
I actually,
schools
yes.
That we're gonna work with.
Schools or individuals?
Yeah, we do have a
Yes.
priority list, right now, we're trying to do 2 schools right now, 2 elementary schools that we know that those labs are in dire needs. The high school, teachers are the priority right now, we're getting them the up-to-date desktop devices, because the high school has the most outdated desktops, especially for teachers, because the middle school was blessed with that merger, before the merger, D.M. Smith had gotten that grant, seed grant, and so some of those computers decided to be replaced at D.M. Smith before we made that merger. So when that merger took place, those new devices went over to the middle school. It was the high school that was left hanging, and a lot of their devices are 15 years old, to be honest, especially those that the teachers have.
It's Hayes Cooper and DM
And
Smith
DM.
are gonna be the first 2 elementaries that I'm kind of focusing in on. And we're going to do those first. That means the labs and the teachers, and get all of that done before we move on to another school, because it's a lot to, with the employees that I have, to get all of this stuff put in, bought, all that kind of stuff, and then move a device, make sure it doesn't get lost and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to focus in on Hayes Cooper and DM Smith and get those done first, and then I'll do other, maybe one-off of a couple of teachers or something like that if they're in bad need, but we're gonna have to break it down and do it by schools in order to make sure we don't end up in a mess like we did with the Chromebooks, because a lot of those Chromebooks got dropped off, we had 3,000 of them, and we might have had a box at the wrong school. So I want to make sure we are completely set at a school before we move on to another one.
Okay, and that, fixed assets,
Mhm.
rewind to the high school, give me those numbers again.
The high school has about,
How many were unaccounted for?
right now, we're at about 138. When this was put together, it was 144, but since I put this together and gave it to Ms. Bell, I've already received 2 sets of sheets from Ms. Hill in moving 25 Chromebooks to art class and 25 Chromebooks to another class. So it did drop the number of what's not accounted for. But for the most part, those devices are in that PD area that we just have to go through those boxes as she's doing what she's doing now and check those vaults. But once the classrooms are set, we're gonna go back through the entire building so we don't miss anything. No room, no crook, no, whatever is over there, we're gonna go through it once these classrooms are set.
So do you believe that they're all gonna be accounted for?
I hope so.
Well, tell me. Yes, ma'am.
I
No,
hope
ma'am.
that they are gonna be accounted for. I can't give you a definite answer until we go through the building to see what we have and what we don't have.
Are they,
Well, I'm asking that because somebody was responsible for accepting those Chromebooks at that high school, and that person was responsible for keeping track of those.
Oh, but it's not just the Chromebooks. Some stuff over there, it may be a speaker that
It
wants to
doesn't
fix
matter.
that, so
If it's-
access. So we have to go through that entire building so we can cover ourselves.
Right, I understand
You know,
that.
so I can't give, if all of those, if what's left that's not accounted for, I don't know if it's gonna be 2 that we don't come up with, 3. That's why we're gonna go through it to make sure, and then I'll be able to give you that definite number or final number once that is complete.
They'll give us a final
I
number,
know.
it's up to us
Yeah,
whether
no.
we prosecute, whether we send them a bill.
Yeah, but I mean, if we're talking about dozens, that's a problem.
Principal gets a bill for it.
Yes, and that's what I was getting to. The principal accepts responsibility, and when they're not accounted for, there are supposed to be consequences.
This board's held them, make consequences before.
Well, I'm not questioning, I'm not
So, once he
questioning
comes to
that.
us,
Once he gets the total, we'll know.
makes a recommendation to us about,
Did they do a clean audit before they took over?
This, before Ms. Johnson took over, it was at the 300 and some odd numbers that was unaccounted for. That was one of the reasons why Ms. Hill was brought in as the interventionist, and that is also her fixed assets helper in that building. So we can have more than just Ms. Johnson trying to find this stuff. Ms. Hill is really taking it upon herself, and I've seen the difference since about October, because I've received about 20 sheets from Ms. Hill since about October, moving these devices here and these devices here. And some of those devices were devices that were unaccounted for. And when I say unaccounted for, it is on the page that says room location 0. That does not mean it's not in the building. What it means is it don't have a permanent location.
And that happened with the merger from the systems.
And then tossed in 2,500 Chromebooks in there at one time, and it just, everything just got out of whack. But right now,
were those Chromebooks assigned to a room or to a building?
right now they're being assigned to a classroom. So we had them all in one room, which is the PD room, which is 214 at the lower level. They were all in there locked up. Now Ms. Hill is in there, and you can see the process of it being put in and letting me know in the sheets where these are going to room 415. Good. So when they get put into 415, I do a refresh, and the numbers on the page that says 0, that number goes down because some of those devices are on that page instead of being up under the PD room or room 214. Some of those listed fell up under room 0. So as we bring them in, some of those are coming out for 0, and that is bringing our numbers down. That's how we done got down from that 300 and some odd number that we had in May.
We're making progress.
We're making progress, we've been dealing with that. Oh, some years, $200,000-$300,000.
But I'm like Debbie, in other words, that teacher, when they sign that sheet and says that those items are in that room, those items should be in that room.
That is correct, and that is what's being stressed right now and emphasized now, that if you sign the sheet, I send out a sheet every month. Don't, it's not there in August, because I'm looking at your sheet. All sheets are different colors. Every month is a different color sheet, so you can't say you didn't receive a sheet, because I've already told them the district gave me grace. Grace is gone. So if grace left me, you can only imagine what she has done to you.
Yeah.
So,
And how do you
So-
put it out of your check?
So basically, the teacher signs off on it.
Then she ought to.
And there's a process, if Lucille wants to borrow a Chromebook from my room or whatever, and she takes it to her room, and she doesn't bring it back, but there's a process that teacher should fill out that says, I moved that
That's right.
to Lucille's room, and now it goes on Lucille's,
On her inventory.
on her sheet.
Correct, but I prefer them to not borrow, because there are enough devices in the building to where you can go to the principal and say, hey, I'm short 2 Chromebooks, can I get 2 Chromebooks out of the office? And those 2 Chromebooks will be assigned to your room. When you're done, you should take them back so they can stay where they are in the system. So if they stay in the vault, that's right.
Would it be possible for every school, every principal, every person that's responsible for fixed assets to do a check at the end of each 9-week period, or whatever you deem?
The principals are responsible for doing their own in-house inventory and going through what they find missing off of it. Once I give them their sheets, they are responsible, and some of them do a very good job at doing their own in-house inventory. That is one thing that has helped us get to where the elementaries are at 100% as well as the middle school, is that in-house inventory. If you can do the in-house inventory before I get there and you catch before I get there, it ease and eliminate a whole bunch of problems down the line, especially when I go in and start in March to start doing the end of the year 100% audit, it eliminate a whole bunch of problems.
What do they do, beginning of school and the end of school?
It's the beginning of the school, middle, and it's the end. And if I feel something is fishy, then I go in. I just go in anyway. So I may go in and say, I want to see room 20, 25, and 9.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's not there, I'm walking out. You got to fix it. Find it, and I'll come back.
Are the readers working correctly?
We no longer have scanners.
No scanners?
With the new software that we purchased, Marathon didn't have any scanners compatible to the system.
They said they are going to push out an update or something with their Marathon software but our scanners, but the scanners we have now do not work with the software.
So I have to touch every device that's in the.
We have to look at every device.
That's all.
That's standing on your head to find that asset number.
Send it in a
Those
chair.
scanners were sketchy.
Yeah, they good though, I like it.
Yeah, I enjoyed the scanner. The scanner lets you know if this device was supposed to be in room 20 and it was in room 9, it would register as being in the building, but in the wrong room, take it back where it was in the system. Right now, I have to do it all by hand and read the paper. This device don't belong to him, this so-and-so. Find out where you got it from.
I know it's a problem keeping up with all this.
We used to have to put it on the wall.
We have it on the wall on your back door.
All right, can I get a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Get rid of that stuff.
I am.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, seal bids for the pre-maintenance. I know we end up getting.
Pull around here, Paul.
Oh, it's nothing up there.
There should be enough copies for everybody.
Oh, I thought I had something that long.
Wait, that's separate bid?
No, it's just one bid.
Only one bid. Okay.
Everybody gets their copy.
Well, that ain't gonna be hard to figure out.
Okay.
We got both of them.
I like this.
Why? It's not red.
You go back, I think we need another.
This is,
What is this
what's the
insurance on?
scope of work?
Protection, lawn, and dirt.
If there's only one bid, then, there's not much to really.
No.
I don't know what kind of tree stuff he has.
Well, I can tell you right now.
You got one? I saw it.
Brad Powell.
Living guard insurance, fund, looks good.
I mean, he's local, it's not in Flora.
Good trees.
There, I guess that's a total on the first. All right, now, you've got tree work listed and landscaping.
That was in the request. The request that, for tree maintenance and landscaping, that was in our request.
I just assumed we were doing tree work. So,
Landscaping, I thought weed eating and all that, and
I think they
Trimming
come
hedges.
out bushes when you're doing that.
Taking stuff out, we're doing.
Yeah, I know some sidewalk issues where you had tree roots that were breaking up.
Well, now removal of trees should take care of that.
But you still have to.
Fix the concrete.
He gonna fix concrete?
Yeah, I'm gonna say he did.
Well, that's, we got
Yeah,
to
we
take
need
this
to know
under
for
five.
real.
We got, this is way more than we assumed.
But we do have
Wow.
some emergency trees that, like, I think he said, what was it? When y'all
It should
looked
be
at
on
them?
the deck page.
Oh, Mr. Attorney, we only have one bid like this, and we don't want to proceed. Do we vote it down, or do we take it under advisement?
Okay, we
How do
take-
you do that?
You can do either one of them. You can reject it and rebid, or you can vote it down, whichever one you want to do.
Reject it. My opinion is, Dr. is reject it, and then narrow our scope of work.
What actually needs being done.
What's emergency, what's,
In your next publication, I mean, this is a little general.
We need to know what trees need to come
I would
in.
like, I mean, it'll,
detailed description.
a little bit detailed, at least a little bit more of a detailed description. I realize somebody can't go and itemize each tree
Yeah.
and a map of the school district or whatever, but they can at least give you, I think, a little bit better description or a course of work, scope of work.
Yeah.
Cut these trees, fix this ground, fix concrete, do whatever, as opposed to one school, one price, landscaping tree. That's just a little general.
Oh, great.
I'll make the motion not to accept this bid.
A second.
Then y'all can
All right, been motioned
rebid,
and seconded not to
repost.
accept the bid, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Yeah, re-quote it.
I was told.
I think 200 would be high. You need all these bids, whoever.
It'd be best to bring them back around. I'll take one.
You can have it, but, well, you can have it.
We're gonna start.
I'm gonna start our own.
You can start your own tree service?
Yeah, I'm
You
gonna
don't
say
leave,
that.
you don't leave work.
See why I could have a bigger hat.
All right, personnel.
I put, no.
We're on personnel.
Personnel, man.
16.
Explain the revised pay scale. Does that mean that the people already in the district salaries will change?
This is just,
That's just,
We didn't revise our pay scale, I don't think.
it's a revised pay scale, isn't it?
we just, that's where we put the business.
Section one on there,
That's highlighted.
that gives you the
Business manager.
business manager. You see that?
Yeah, it's on that
Is
line.
it yellow?
Mm-hmm.
It's the latest pay.
Business manager.
So we'll change that, because you got revised, oh, never mind. I thought it said 213.
Do we have, a highly qualified replacement for number 4?
I talked to her today and she had a plan to switch people around to get what she was doing.
Okay.
So. We gonna release her?
She has I mean, that's at your call, but she said she had it covered,
Who?
the principal.
Well,
Well, that ain't the issue there. The issue is letting people out of contracts in the middle of the year. Don't start saying you can't keep up.
Right.
You leave me without a teacher. I hear you say the principal said she has it covered, but I remember one time the recommendation was for that person to find a person to replace them. But I just believe in taking license.
well, the principal got to do what they gotta do, we gotta do what we gotta do.
Right. I understand
You
that.
know, the principal says she got it covered, then they got it covered, but if, let's move that to executive session. We better stop right there. All right, so, I'll make the motion to approve, payroll, personnel, with the exception of number 4.
Okay.
We'll go to,
I so move.
All right, been motioned and seconded, all those in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, revision for student handbook, remove from table.
All right, that was just the,
That's the guns and the sprays.
No, it's the,
coursework.
The manner for,
second
Oh,
page.
scale.
The scale 5 and 6, over 5 and 6.
Yeah.
All right, can I get a motion to
All
approve that?
right, so we looked at it last month, we tabled it, we're finna approve it. Everything is kosher. The classes, we don't have anybody that has taken this class before that will be affected.
Hopefully them years are gone.
Well,
That's what I'm
you
saying.
know, if you got a senior who took
took something,
Kathy is
chemistry.
in 11th grade and it was a
5,
5-point scale.
now it's 6.
Okay,
Everybody's
Grade
good.
to see.
okay.
All right, I'm just asking
Yeah,
questions.
but we don't want much.
I've been through.
So, all right, so, I'll make the motion to approve.
All right, the motion is second to approve, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Moving table and approval of policy GCRAA, Fair Labor Standards Policy. You look at that and all that?
We had talked about this actually in October. I was not here in November, but what you don't have is who makes the call. In your policy, it's sort of just blank, that, there is a preference for comp time. Unfortunately, under the law, you also have to give them, someone, a qualified person, the option for monetary payment. I mean, I realize there's a preference for comp time, but under the law on the FLSA, you have to give them that option.
And so
So don't
basically,
y'all have to get approval to get
But yes, you have to get approval, and then that wasn't there either. It was just sort of blank that,
now it's going to the superintendent.
so now what we've created is the ladder. The ladder that basically exists for everything in your school. If you have a disciplinary issue, it starts at the school level. If there's a problem, then it goes up. If there's a bigger problem, then it gets to you guys. I don't think y'all are wanting to be in the process of figuring out who gets paid and who doesn't. I think you want it to start at the school level. So the school level then goes, if I can get you money, great, but more than likely it's gonna be comp time. And the teacher goes, the qualified teacher goes, I don't like that. Okay, then it goes to here. And then she goes, look, we'll try to figure something out, but we can't make it. Then it will get to y'all.
Did I not
We're
read
gonna
it
have to
right?
make a decision.
Did I not read that certified people not getting comp time is just a non-certified? Did I not read it right?
Certain people are only qualified for that, that's right.
That's right. Okay,
That's
so
right.
it wouldn't be the teacher.
It's not everybody, that's right, it's not everybody, because some people are presumed to not be qualified under FLSA.
Did I not read where the principal is the one who has to approve the overtime? You said it was nobody. Did I not read that?
What you don't have now is there's nobody, it just sort of leaves it blank.
Oh,
What we're gonna create, what we're gonna make for this is to change that policy that says you start at the school level. And then after the school level, the same way that you would have an appeal process with your discretion,
With your bus folks, what are they, like, if they, I assume some of them get some overtime, ball game weekend or something like
They
that.
get paid for that.
They get paid for it.
They get paid for any
It
hour.
was salary for trips.
Yeah.
Right.
I wanna know.
That doesn't ever, it's not an issue for bus drivers.
Uh-huh.
Mostly an issue for cafeteria workers,
and custodians.
custodians, what about teachers' aides?
Uh-huh.
That
Possibly.
happens. Possibly,
Non-certified.
not anybody that's non-certified in the building.
And the request would be is that you wanna try to at least get prior approval.
Yes.
I mean, you can't just sit here and keep working and working and working, knowing that you're busting
Let me
hours.
ask this question. At the end of the year, if you have someone, and maybe it needs to be addressed in this policy also, if you have someone with some overtime, does it carry over to the next year? Or does it not? Does it end?
You're talking about comp time?
It carries over.
Carries over, comp time carries over.
Not comp time. If we're gonna pay them monetarily.
If you get there, then
That would be paid that.
that's paid on the time, on the spot. That's on the spot in that period. There's no
So you
carry, it
can't
could
carry
never
over
be
to
carried
the
over.
next year.
No.
Overtime couldn't be carried over because that has to
If
be
you
paid.
work
in that
42
period.
hours, then. and
I
it
got
was
2 hours
approved,
over.
then
I don't
it-
take them right now. I wanna carry them over to next
You
year.
got to
I
pay,
can't.
you got to
I gotta take them.
Now, comp time, I could see where that could kind of.
That can carry over. Comp.
If you had 2 days of comp time and you want to save them from this school year to the next school year.
No, is that what this policy does, straighten that out?
It hadn't been clear. I was needing to get y'all's say, y'all's version. What do y'all want it to say?
That's what we want
Oh,
to do.
that's
If that's what you wanted to say, then I'm gonna have to write that out,
Okay.
and then I'll bring it to you in January.
We'll take it.
We're gonna table
All
it
right.
again.
So that's what you're gonna do is table that one. The FLSA is I needed y'all to tell me what you were going to approve so I could write it. and then I will give it to y'all in January.
All right, get with Cindy and the superintendent.
All right, so in that same thing is JCDAE, right?
It should have been, actually, this, number 18 should read two-part. So you have one is the FLSA.
Right.
Subpart B is weapons. I wanted, y'all asked me to add mace, this is what I was going to add,
OC.
which is number 11.
Tear gas.
Add at the end of your weapons policy, there is room for number 11, mace, which is also considered what's called oleosin capsin, OC spray, tear gas, pepper spray, or any type of self-defense, liquid diffuser, aerosol, or projected spray. So if y'all want to add that to number 11,
Yes.
y'all had already considered that October.
All right, so we're gonna table, you're gonna rewrite the overtime.
That part is tabled, so I can submit that to you in January.
All right.
You can accept
Weapon.
the weapons, because y'all had already talked about that.
Yeah.
So I make the motion to table, overtime, how did you read that? Overtime pay,
Comp time.
there you go. And then to accept JCDAE revised,
To include the mace.
include the base, OC, tear gas, pepper spray, and self-defense, liquid diffuser, aerosol, or projected sprays. That covers bear spray, everything. Go with-
Yes, I mean, and the way the language is written, even though it's not, that's why I said the aerosol, because, I mean, you could use bug spray, wasp spray, that's the same thing.
Been motion second to table the first part and accept the JCDAE second part, all those in
So
favor?
moved.
Yeah, it's gonna be done.
You get a second?
I made the motion, Paul had seconded.
All right,
What's that?
all those in favor?
Aye.
It's the same thing.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, get motion to consider executive session.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Been motion second to consider executive session, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
5 minutes.
Stated reasons, we got,
Personnel.
student misconduct, personnel,
JCDAE
That's it.
was.
You already did the policy
we've
thing.
already done that, we'll do it again if we have to. Can I get a motion to go into executive for those stated reasons?
So moved.
Second.
Been motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
I'll take a 5-minute break.
For what?